what else is going on in the news, Kay, that's sparked your interest, brother?
Yeah, so I'm not one to. So my personal life, I do a lot of really into politics. I should say really, but really as a casual, right? Because it affects us on some level.
Yeah.
Right. So while perusing and going through and staying up to speed on some things, big news.
Okay.
Right. Joe Biden. Right. Joe Biden signs off. It made it through the Senate. Excuse me, through the House, through the Senate. So he signs a ban for TikTok. Now this affects millions of TikTok users, not to mention two gentlemen with the name of the show called J and K Show. And this impacts tons of people. So
it's gonna mess up our TikTok, you saying?
Yeah.
Oh man, Joe, say it ain't so, Joe.
Say it ain't so, Joe.
Oh, man.
It's crazy. So one of the first things I thought about was millennials, Ys, X's, Z's must not be his constituents, right? He must say, "The hell with y'all. This is what I'm going to do." They put it under the guise of national security, right? Evidently, and I don't know if anyone has ever taken the time to read the service terms, the terms of service.
Most likely not, Kay.
Probably not, unless you're a geek like me and you read it. It is incredibly intrusive. The way that it propagates and takes all my information. Yeah. Then with me speaking to you electronically is getting your information, right? And you have to kind of say, based off the usage and what we do with TikTok, why do you need all that information? It would be akin to going to, I don't know, say you go to the movies. Yeah. You go to the movies to go see a movie. You go to buy a movie ticket, and they ask you tons of intrusive questions about your personal life and about your friend's personal life. You pin them all of these things, and you're saying, "I just want to see a movie." Why does it matter my date of birth? Why does it matter my PIN number to my like all of that information? And that's where it kind of feels. It feels a bit icky.
It rules.
So the fact that it was that it's also owned by a parent company out of China. Also raised the concern from a national security standpoint. Right. So without going into a whole lot of military and government and politics and so on, I'm going to ask you, just from a nuts and bolts standpoint, what is the impact of a U.S. world, without TikTok?
Listen, I think obviously a lot of businesses use TikTok as well as a lot of the other, social media pages and things like that. And, it helps with business tremendously, just like Facebook and Instagram does. So obviously this is a huge thing, TikTok, and it brings a lot of entertainment to people as well, right? So I think that, banning something like this I don't think it's a good idea. Like, I think of banning way other things before you're going to ban TikTok, right? Like, what about banning guns? I'd rather you go there first, Mr. Biden. I know he can't do it. But I'm just saying, in a perfect world, I believe there are so many more important things to think about banning than TikTok. Let's ban cigarettes, right? Kills plenty of people. Guns kill plenty of people, right? Like, TikTok to me is it's a form of entertainment. Listen, we can all use social media for evil, right? Same thing with AI, right? We can use all of these things for evil, but we can also use them for good. And we have used TikTok for many good things and AI and things like that. So now for him to want to ban it, and I've heard that he's used it before. His administration has used it. His family has used it. So, but listen, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? He is. Right. He is. And what is he really supposed to do? He's a president. He has to make... This is why I would never be president, right? You have to make everybody happy.
Because you wouldn't get my vote anyway. So.
Well, I would get your vote.
No, you would not get my vote.
Yeah, well, how do you know that? I haven't ran for president before.
Yeah, bro, I know you. Like, I don't need to hear your stump speech to already know.
Really?
Yeah, I don't need to hear your stump. I feel like there's a pause in there. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, you better put a pause in there, right? but and my stump is big. No, anyway. But
pause.
But I'm just saying, who would want to be the president? And listen, you know, a lot of people are coming out against him and saying he shouldn't do that, or maybe some people are for it, or whatever the case may be. I am never going to go against a president if they have to do what they need to do.
So what about the idea of it being a matter of national security, right? Like, damn your cooking video, Julie from wherever, right? People may die because of this social media app. Therefore, we need to take this away, J&K.
People may die because of guns. Let's start there. Why don't we start there?
So do you think that maybe you sound like the person that gets pulled over for speeding and then says, you pulled me. There was someone that drove past me. He was speeding fast. Why didn't you go? Why didn't you get him? Why you?
Because guns was a problem way before TikTok. Yeah, that's how I am. Guns, it's a way bigger problem. Way bigger problem. So it's just, to me, it just aggravates me when people choose and pick and choose of what they want to complain about or what's against national security when there are guns that's killing millions of people around the world. But you just want to over... Yes, it is.
Isn't, would you say guns?
I don't talk about people, okay?
Would you...
Don't talk about...
I thought the purpose was for me to talk about some shit.
Yeah, but talk about things yes.
But so what I was going to say, do you think guns are a national security risk? There's a risk of national security because we have guns in this country?
I'm talking about innocent people's lives being lost.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I thought it was a question on the table.
Right.
Do you think there's a
there is, along with...
On the scale of someone stealing secrets and identity? Like the way TikTok is doing? There are, so think of it this way. There's a gun.
Yeah.
Right? No guns, all the guns in this country, right? Let's just assume for a moment there are, a 250 million people on TikTok?
Right.
Right? The moment you're on there, according to what we've learned, the moment you're on there, based on their terms of service, you are then victimized.
Right.
Right? There are not 250 million people in this country that are victimized by guns. So if you look through the lens of what is the greater concern of national security, would that not be this electronic or this technology that propagates through all of us versus, say, a gun or all the guns in this country?
Well, I think that you're talking about national security. I think there's plenty other apps out there and different social media pages where it's the same thing, right? There's plenty of risk in all the, not just TikTok. When I'm talking about guns, that's a different thing. It's more about health. It's more about life, because I think if I'm not here, it doesn't matter. If I'm not here to use TikTok. So I'm an extremist. You'll learn about, well, you already know that about me. I'm an extremist. And I put my life at the very forefront of what's important to me, my family, and my friends, and things like that. Is it a national security risk? Yes. But if you don't want to use TikTok and you don't want to follow their rules, well, then that's it. I don't have any problem with them making their rules of banning TikTok. That's what they want to do. Okay, that's fine. I don't really care. Is it a national security risk? Yeah, maybe. But I don't know. That doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't. I'm just being honest with you.
Interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't. Not at all.
All right. Well, I'll say this, though. I tend to think that there is some validity, right? Let me back up. Here's where I think how this will play out.
Yeah.
Right. So I brought up the fact that there is a lot, you can read what it does in the terms of service. I think this will, the way this law is written, they have an opportunity to fix some of the things that were pointed out.
Okay.
I think that's what they'll do. Okay. I'd be hard pressed to see a company, in this case, a global company, that has penetrated the United States and all that we are with our capitalism and how we love as a country to consume. We will spend to feel good.
Yeah. That
a company would run the risk of losing this market.
Right.
All 320 of us in this market, in order to, I just don't see it happening. So I think net, I think they'll change how they do business, right, in order to stay. In order to stay in this country, they'll change the terms of service and they'll lock this down. It'll, you won't have to share so much of your information.
True.
Knowingly or unknowingly. I think that's where it'll end up.
Yeah, I heard the CEO, he was speaking the other day, and he's obviously, thinking about making a lot of changes as you was talking about. Right. But he definitely thinks that it's unfair. He definitely thinks it's unfair, and feels like it's being singled out. Well, TikTok is being singled out. And, I don't know. I just, my biggest thing in life is just when I see double standards going on, I just hate it. So when you hear me talking about different things like guns and cigarettes and what they're doing to a certain entity and not to others that are more important, it just rubs me the wrong way. Yeah. And I just don't like it.
Yeah, well, you and I fundamentally disagree. I think we talked about this on guns and the use of guns and guns in our society and so on. Right. You were, as you said, ban guns, and I'd say totally against that. I don't think we should be banning guns. I'm not giving back my gun. I'm not doing that.
Right, you're not doing that. So you don't even care if someone kills your boy.
Of course I care.
Yeah,
of course I care. But I tell you this much:
if you had a way to stop it,
I tell you this much: if they do, they better look out for me. Don't hurt my boy because I got one and I'm going after them.
Yeah, but if you could have done something differently to stop me before, you surely wouldn't have.
Well, I would have. I would have said, "Jay, get a gun, my dude."
You would have get it. No, because if no one in this world,
I would have said, "Jay, get a gun."
If no one in this world had a gun, no one, even the cops, the authorities, no one has a gun, there will be no gun violence and there will be no loss of innocence life. To me, it's such an easy fix.
Right. And you know what if there were no guns.
I don't hear talk about mental therapy, going to therapy.
If there were no guns, then someone like yourself at another time, distant, far away time, would be talking about banning baseball bats because people are going to still kill people. Right? Go look through history.
Yeah, but you can't do mass killings with baseball bats.
People killed people since the beginning of time.
Sure, absolutely. I could choke you out.
Stones and rocks. Yes. Neanderthals, cavemen were all like, there were no guns.
Yeah, but of course. But you can't do mass killings with baseball bats. And this is what I'm talking about with guns. TikTok ain't going to take people's lives. Is it a national security risk?
Lord, man. Kill 100. Ain't no difference.
Oh yeah, there is a difference. Yes,
I said in the eyes of.
I'm talking about simple math, right? Math? Yeah, it's horrible if I die one day or if you die one day because I'm gonna cry, you're gonna cry. It's gonna be really bad. But millions of people aren't being killed if one day someone just kills me. Yeah, you'll be sad. My family will be sad. And
listeners, this is what happens when you talk to Jay. Yeah. Right. You start.
Yeah, take it somewhere else.
You start on a social media app. And then end up talking about guns and mass
because I see people killings, right?
I
see everything
all over the place.
Yeah, I am all over the place because I know what's important in life and it ain't about TikTok.